I would not be mad at that.
I've had people offer me $1 million. Not kidding.
I don't have $1 million to give you.
Not kidding. I've actually had somebody offer that. Let's go!
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, keyboard warriors, people like, we got a special one for you today. In fact, this is something that I didn't think I was gonna do anytime soon, but I'm here. As I said to you a couple weeks ago that I was gonna get a driver fitting to get rid of El Dinosaurito, and I'm here with master club fitter Clay Joyner from TrueSpec, who absolutely 110% restored my faith in the club fitting world just a couple of short months ago with one of my collegiate players that came in. I was blown away with how far we've come in the world of club fitting, because my honest opinion towards it was so many people are trying to sling product onto you and not taking into account who you really are as a golfer. And that's exactly what this place is not. This place is going to take into account who you are as a golfer, and they're going to make sure that you leave here with the best driver, the best three, with the best clubs that are fit for you specifically, so that you can go out there and not have clubs that are underperforming. And so I want to introduce Clay. Clay has already said that he's going to be doing the fork and show with us at the very end of the video, so stick around for that. It's going to be a good one. You guys are in for a treat, because I think Clay's got a little bit of game too. So the fork and show. Well,
I couldn't perfect the fork and show. That was the problem.
All right, let's see what he's got. Good acknowledgement, nice. All right, we give that a solid 8.5 right there at least. Clay, thank you very much for having me in.
Definitely.
He's already been making fun of my drivers, so we're gonna answer a few questions today. The most important question that I want to answer for all of you at home, and it's a question that I get, and it's a question that he gets, is when should you get fit for new golf clubs? When should that process take place? And so what's your opinion on when people should get fit?
So I believe everyone should get fit as soon as possible. That's just huge. If you're taking instruction right now and the instructor's trying to get you to make a certain move and it's just really hard for you to do, your equipment can be holding you back from doing that. Everyone is good enough to get fit.
Right. That was the one key point that you made to me just a minute ago that I loved, is that we don't want you to fear where you're at with your level of play at any point
Not
to
at
go
all.
get fit. Because something that you might not understand is that if your clubs are working against you, even in the current space that your swing is capable of producing right now, is that it could make it almost impossible for you to actually make that change.
Correct.
Because your subconscious is a very powerful being. It very much is. And so it's never a bad time to go get fit for golf clubs. If somebody we know is going through a specific swing change, let's just say we're going to be adjusting their path 5-6 degrees,
Yeah.
angle of attack maybe 3 or 4 degrees.
Yeah.
Should we expect them to go through a fitting at the start of this and then have to go back through a fitting once we're done with their change?
Not whatsoever. No,
That right
you
there is-
definitely not have to go get another fitting. If fitted properly, you're good from that point.
Okay.
You're good for, heck, as long as you want to keep the club.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. That's very important information for you all at home to have, because I think a lot of you are scared because you're burned into this mindset that you've got to go through a swing change first, and you don't want to have to buy 2 separate sets of clubs, because it's a pretty big investment.
Yeah.
It can be.
It can be.
But
that's a good thing about TrueSpec here as well. Anything that we build, we stand behind our product.
Right.
You get a 30-day playability guarantee on it. So let's say you get your equipment, and in those 30 days, those changes are even harder to do. Guess what? Get you back in, retest it, and just see if those changes actually did exist there.
Right.
Or not.
Yep. Okay, so today what we're going to be doing is Clay's going to be going through a fitting with me specifically with my current driver. We're going to get some baseline numbers here in just a little bit. We've already done some measuring on it. And you're going to see exactly what I would go through as a player. And you're going to be able to kind of learn and understand what you should expect as players on your own side. Hopefully you guys find this informative, because there's going to be a lot of great information. Clay, like I said, is single-handedly the one that restored my faith in this world, because I thought the club fitting world had gone into this world of catastrophe, but it's awesome now, especially with all the data and all the equipment that you guys have and the ability to be able to change shafts. So I'm looking forward to today.
Yeah, me too.
All right, so what are we doing?
All right, so I just took some basic measurements. You're playing at maximum USGA length of 46 inches currently with your driver.
Okay.
All right. We have a swing weight of D5.
Okay.
That's a lot.
Okay.
Right? Especially now we're not playing a lot, right? So straight out of the car, it can be tough with this thing. Okay?
72 gram X Flex.
72 gram X Flex. Yeah, it was good, 20 years ago when this thing was built. But hey, we're going to definitely, let's get some baseline off this first.
Okay.
And then we'll take it from there.
Okay. All right, that's ready. All right, boys and girls. Let's see what we're made of here. What's that?
It's close. 108.9. It does go high and straight.
That's what I want, right?
Yeah.
110?
Yeah, right at 109.6 on this end.
It's funny too, like, because I think when I was getting fit for this club 15, 16 years ago, I was swinging like 114, 115. Yeah. So, I mean, it hasn't changed.
As we get older, you know, things.
Hey.
You're pretty consistent, bud.
I like the sounds of that.
Yeah. No. So, you're playing what, 9.5 degrees with that?
9?
9 degree? Okay. So, your spin is really coming from the strike on the face more than anything.
Okay.
Striking just a tad low.
Okay.
Okay. Which, at the weld points, it's going to make it rise.
Rise, yep.
Okay. So, we need, your launch is a touch high.
What is it?
It's around 15.
15.
Okay, so it's a tad high. But your angle of attack, right, is the reason it's launching so high. Okay?
What is it?
It's around 6.
6 up?
Yeah, 6 up. So with that being 6 up, your spin really should hover around 2,000.
Right.
Okay?
At the highest
At the
point.
highest. Like, you'll be a very low spin player with those metrics if you don't make any swing changes whatsoever.
Right.
Swinging 6 up, you're going to hit it your farthest. That's how us little guys hit it as far as the big guys.
Exactly.
Right? Because we just make that one metric change and things just boom, magically appear.
Right.
Hit it further. Now, if we can get that spin down, so you're going to get 20 more in the air.
Really?
At least.
Should I hit one more?
Yeah. One more.
So 20 in the air at least. What's it going in the air right now? So,
Right now, averaging 265.
okay.
Average spin 3,000. But a couple things I dislike about what the data is telling me. Your peak height is hovering around 137.6 feet in the air. That would be okay
If the spin rate was down.
if the spin rate was down and you're swinging at 125. Okay?
Yeah.
Right? Because that kind of flattens itself out at that point. So we're looking for a descent angle for you to be anywhere between 34 and 38.
Okay.
Okay? That means when that ball comes into the ground, it's at an angle to where it's going to hit and run, not plug. Right now, your ball will plug if it's a wet day.
Absolutely. That's exactly what I see.
It's not going to run out whatsoever. The ball actually may be behind your pitch mark
Right.
at times.
That's what I
It's
see.
coated with mud.
That's what I see.
All right? Now it's game over from there because now where is it going to go?
Right.
All right? All right, so objectives. I would like to get that launch down just a little bit.
So from 15 down to what?
I would like to see you hitting up that much. If we can get it to 12, that'd be fantastic.
Okay.
Right? We're only talking about a couple degrees here.
Okay.
We're not trying to move mountains here, right?
What was it? Was it averaging 15 on the 5 or 6?
14.7.
Okay, so that's pretty high.
So it's pretty high, right? Your land angle, descent angle is 47. That's good for a 6-iron. Not good for a driver. Okay? I mean, you're creating a lot of ball speed
Okay.
for your club head speed. You're around 160.
Okay.
And that's moving it for 109.5.
Okay.
I mean, it's getting out there, right? So spin is is going to be your biggest differential
Okay.
for distance.
Okay.
Okay? But if we get the spin too low, we have no control.
Right.
Right.
I actually ran into that too because I remember taking a Titleist driver out of the box that was sent to me when I was playing, and I think the thing was spinning at like 1400, and I couldn't keep it in play.
Yeah, so if you ever see your height cut in half with driver, not enough spin.
Okay.
We're not, like I said, we're not trying to go crazy here. I would like to see your height be less than your club head speed though. That's an easy way to get that land angle down. Okay?
The height less than the club head speed.
Yeah. So let's say the 6-iron, 93 is what we were swinging it.
Okay.
I want you at 93 feet high.
Okay.
That's going to give you 45
Gotcha.
angle coming down.
Okay.
So if we can stay below that, you'll see how that number starts falling. And then reduce the spin. Now,
What sort of metrics do you look at, like right from the get-go? So those first 5 swings, where do your eyes start to go to? You go to
So,
spin rate first, or?
First thing I do is look at face mapping. I
Okay.
want to see where he's hitting it on the face. And what it's showing me is a little low near the toe. What I'm looking at, first off, I wanted to know how fast he's swinging it with the ball speed.
Okay.
Okay, period. That's going to give me an idea of where we can go. Okay? Then I'm looking at launch, spin, descent. Okay, all of those, they go hand in hand. You can't have one without the other.
Right.
Okay, so like I said, you're swinging around 109.5, hitting up 6 on average, 160 ball speed, 3,072 spin. If we can get that spin down by 1,000, I will guarantee you I can get you 20 more.
20 more yards.
20
I would not be
yards.
mad at that.
I've had people offer me $1 million for 20 yards.
I
Not kidding.
don't have $1 million to give you.
Not kidding. I've actually had somebody offer that.
So I would be pretty tickled with 20 more because, again,
Yeah.
getting up in age, like, this is why, you know, subconsciously you start developing different ways to swing the club.
Yeah.
So hitting up on it 6.4 and being able to release the club harder helps me pick up distance, where other guys aren't having to kind of skate on that razor thin edge of losing control. Because the higher, if your angle of attack gets a little bit too much on the upside, you're leaving yourself a little bit more wide as far as what your miss could potentially be, and
Correct.
you're leaving yourself more in the timing department.
Yeah, and as well as where it strikes on the face.
Right.
Right, because every club still has bulge and roll on it.
Right.
Even the twist face has bulge and roll on it.
Right. So
And
when he says
certain
bulge
areas.
and roll, right? So the bulge is more from the midsection of the club
Correct.
up, right?
Yep.
So that's where the club has more of like a,
It looks like it's a dome, right? So what it wants to do, if we're striking it out of the heel, everything wants to move towards center mass. So heel strikes always go right for a right-handed player. Toe strikes go left for a right-handed player. So right now we're seeing his strike be a little low in the toe, right in here. But because he's hitting up so much, you won't see big curvatures that way. If he was more neutral, you would see massive curves coming off of that.
so when I try to actually set up and try to get down on it a little bit more,
Yeah.
just to try to flight it down,
Yeah.
then if I don't hit it out of the center of the face,
you're
then
going to curve the crap out of it.
that's, okay, that makes a lot more sense, because that's the shot that I run into from time to time, is
Yeah.
that when I'm trying to hit like a squeeze or something, I would actually purposefully, back in the day, try to hit a little bit of a squeeze back towards the heel.
Correct.
But
You
now,
can manage that miss.
but now it spins too much.
Correct.
It doesn't go anywhere.
Correct.
So I want to be able to hit it. I don't want to have to rely on a center face. Ideally,
Exactly.
okay. So most important thing to me when I go through a club fitting process, what I tell fitters is that I have to like the look of the club.
I need you to love it, not like it.
I have to love the look of, when I look down at a club and I have it sold on ground. So just so you guys at home know, but if I were to go and pick out a set of clubs, I have to take that entire set from 3 through pitching wedge, stick it on the ground, sole it, set up to it, and it has to be comfortable to my eyes for it to be even something that I would hit. And the same thing's going to apply when it comes to a driver, is that if I look down at it and I don't like the visual appearance of it, there's no point of me even trying to put it in the bag. Even if it's one of those things that's considered like a unicorn and actually produces numbers that would be off the charts, I still need something that I love.
Yeah, you will always have doubt in your mind if you don't like looking at
Exactly.
it. Because we don't want to go to TPC Sawgrass on 18, water left, and that face looks shut to you.
Yeah.
And you hate seeing the ball go left.
Right, exactly.
It's going to make you make different changes in your swing and not let you be your personality.
Right.
Just go at it.
And that's what a lot of modern day technology was doing when the faces started to blow up, is they set up where you would look down and they look shut.
Yeah. All right, so we got a couple heads here we're going to test.
So we have the Taylormade Stealth 2. Titleist TSR3. Callaway Paradigm.
Cobra,
Cobra.
Aerojet LS,
Strixon.
ZX5 LS, and the Ping G430 LST, because we're trying to kill your spin, number one.
Yep.
Right? So I want something that has a little bit more mass forward. That's an easy way to just kill spin.
Okay.
Right? But we don't want it to drop so low that we can't control it.
Right.
Okay? Now, when I'm going through shaft selection, I'm just remembering what I saw on how you swung the club, how you loaded it at the top. You have a little shorter move from the top, but a quick transition
Right.
there, right? So you load it pretty quickly.
Right.
Right? So we need something, most likely it's going to be a little more stable in the handle section. So the higher this number, the stiffer that section is.
Okay.
Okay? And so we're going to test some opposite ends of the spectrum to see how it makes you move.
Okay.
I don't want it to change your move whatsoever. I want you to be you.
Okay.
Just be your own personality when you're here.
I like
okay?
that. So is that the same thing? This might be a stupid question, but when you look at the old Miyazaki Kasala Black, they have the shaft code,
Yeah.
or they have the flex code down here,
Correct.
so 5, 6, 8, 9.
Yep.
So it's
So the higher the number, the stiffer it is.
Right.
Right. So you were at 5, 6, 8, 9. So softer handle section.
right.
Right. Then it gets a little stiffer all the way to the tip.
Yep.
Where the tip is the most stiffest section when it comes to it.
Right.
That's kind of.
And you're gonna go
That's
the-
kind of why I grabbed this shaft.
So you're gonna go
very,
opposite.
Very similar. I'm just going lighter.
Okay.
Okay?
Gotcha. So you're going to go stiffer up in the handle?
Stiffer in the handle.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's stiffer in the handle, and it's going to unload a little quicker, even though this is just as stable as what you play. I want to start with this.
Okay.
Okay?
I have this odd feeling that you know that like you're going to nail it on the first club. And you're going to be like,
not always.
fitting's over.
Sometimes it has happened.
But what I liked what you did with Alex is that even though you were able to dial in his numbers fairly quick on the driver, is that you put a club in his hand that you knew was going to be wrong to show him the dramatic difference on just little small changes. Like I think you even put like a little bit of weight in the grip, and we changed the ball flight tremendously. And I was
totally different.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is a head that actually has some adjustments to it. And I am so far detached from the world of technology. Please don't make fun of me.
Or do.
or please make lots of fun of me.
That driver, feel free, comments available. Okay, so now we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna get a little baseline off this.
Okay, so this is the first head. We've got it set up with, what's on here?
The Ping G430 LST.
Ping G430 LST. Okay, this is what, 45 inches?
45 and a half.
So it's a half inch shorter. Actually,
Shorter than yours.
like the way it looks.
And it's 12 grams lighter in the shaft than yours.
So you're not doing anything with loft right now. You're just trying to, okay. So are you doing that?
Loft is the first thing we want to go to if we're trying to kill spin.
Right.
But because you're hitting up on it as much as you are, the head itself is going to lower your spin.
Ah, I gotcha.
Okay? So I don't really want to change loft.
All right, let's see what we got here. See if I can hit it out of the center of the face.
Let's try. And lowered it.
Definitely flatter. Felt like I necked it just a little bit.
Necked it as far as back on the head.
Okay.
Oh, there's 5 more yards.
The ball flight was good.
Yep. So we got 110 feet. Ball speed went up a little bit. Club head speed stayed roughly the same.
Spin rate came down just a little bit.
Yep. So descent angle wins up, folks.
Ooh. So I don't pay attention to the head and the shaft as much at first,
Yeah.
because I just want to make good swings.
Of course.
Now I'll
Then you
start.
start feeling it.
Yeah, it's because I just want to make sure. Like,
Yeah, because I want to get you to have about 5 or 6 swings with each one,
okay,
just to get a good baseline from them.
okay.
And then we'll see if there's any outliers in the equation.
So grip wise, it feels just a little big in the hands for whatever reason. I get short fingers. I like the look of the head.
Okay.
Oh
How's
God.
the weight of the club feel?
It feels good. I need to make a better swing though. Weight of the club feels good. Definitely doesn't feel like I have to work as hard, which is nice. It feels, and I think I'm probably going to run into this just based off of how stout that is. Maybe you can talk me out of this mentality. I could feel the shaft. I could feel there's some movement in the shaft in different places. And I don't know if that's a good thing or bad. It's just a different feel, right? So I think
Yeah.
all clubs are going to develop. No matter what I leave here with, it's going to have. All right, let's make a good swing here.
I'm going to change the shaft first on this, okay?
Yeah. Whew. It's weird to feel it.
What did it feel like at the bottom of the swing?
It felt like it was kind of letting.
Kicking hard?
Yeah, it felt like it was kind of letting go on me.
Gotcha. So it started making you make adjustments to that as you were going.
I felt like I was getting quicker up there to try to get the hands in front of it.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense? Like that's why the swing felt.
definitely
And I think that was probably because my hands are so fast, Clay.
Yeah.
Like I've always been since I don't know when I started going so far in to out, but my hands just progressively get faster and faster and faster. And so we were just trying to always combat that, so that under the gun, like if I was playing in something, like I could still go as hard as I want and not have to worry about seeing it go left off the world.
I'm going to stiffen up the tip section now
Okay.
a little bit. See if we can reduce some of that little feel you're generating there. It's kind of slowing you down a little bit.
It's crazy that it makes you change your swing like that because I actually felt it. Like,
Yeah, it can definitely make you go down a rabbit hole as a player.
yeah. Thank you. You know how many days I've gone and filmed for like 6 and 10 hours, sweating, I get home, I look at my wife and I was like, I don't have any footage to use because I didn't have the camera in the right spot. All right.
All right.
That feels better through the bottom. That was back in the neck though, a little bit. Let me get one more and I'll give you. How many times in a fitting do you get somebody to be like, but that's not what I do?
All the time. All the time. It never fails. It's like coming to a car mechanic.
Yeah.
I don't hear those.
But that's not my swing.
Yeah, that's not my swing.
Let me show you what I do. Okay, now, operation, hit it out of the center of their face so we don't have to build a club from the bottom. That's out of the bottom again, Clay.
Yep, so
Shaft-wise feels a little bit more with me, yes. I think that's a good way to put it.
So the first shaft I gave you deflected a little more, which, yeah, it felt a little softer down here, which is going to do that.
Right.
Okay, well, I think long drive guys now are playing senior flex shafts in competition.
Really?
That's how they're hitting it as far as they are.
Okay.
Right? Because they want some deflection. We need lead deflection.
That's what I was going to tell you, is that I didn't mind the feel of that other shaft. I just think I would have to get used to the idea of not trying to go faster to try to get my hands in front.
But that's the beauty of our matrix here.
Right.
It can give you the same feel, but still be stable, right?
Yeah.
As we go through these shafts.
Right.
I don't like how this only forced you to hit it super low in the face. I don't like that.
I don't like the way that there wasn't a different feel in my mishits from the current driver.
Yeah. This felt almost identical to what you had.
Right, where the mishits on the other one were still showing me.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to give you the proper feedback based off of what I'm feeling.
So, a lot of people don't understand how to explain feeling.
Yeah.
Right? They just are saying, yeah, it just feels different. All right, there's no right or wrong answer here, right? It's, okay, does it feel solid? That's another term you can use.
Yeah.
And what is your interpretation of solid?
Right.
Right? So Ping is a huge engineering company. They go more off the sound, the tone.
Right, which is important to me as well.
It's important for a lot of people.
Right.
Right? So that's another thing we have to make sure. You like the sound of it.
Right.
Okay?
One thing that I didn't like is that one swing where I felt like I hit it out of the middle of the face.
Yeah.
It was still towards the bottom.
Yep.
Is I've always been one of those people that likes to be able to know exactly where I hit it on the face when the ball comes out, right? I don't want the club giving me false feedback. Maybe that's the wrong mentality, but that's just, I want to know where I'm hitting it.
Yeah, we need to know where we're hitting it.
Right.
And for y'all at home, the easiest way to do so, get you some foot spray, spray
Dr.
the
Scholl's.
face,
Yep.
and it'll show you.
Yep.
Okay, so now we're going to give you a similar profile to the first shaft we hit, but with the tip section of that last one.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to give you, the last one was a lot stiffer in the handle section than the first shaft. So we're going to go back to the similar profile of the handle of the first shaft, but with the tip section of the last.
Okay, so this is the Ping.
Still going to stay in that for 1 second.
Oof.
Home run out of the gate. Let's go, baby. How about this?
That felt good.
110.8 club head.
Well, I don't feel good about that.
165.6, but remember, because of your angle of attack, you're always going to hit it as far as these guys who have massive club head speed.
Yeah.
Okay? What you just hit that at is what I typically see a guy swinging at 120 miles an hour.
You hear that at home, folks?
120.
Your boy has still got it 41 years old.
Speed, 165.6. That's almost 6 miles an hour faster. What was he at, 110? 13 launch, 1,976 spin, 297 in the air. How about 30 more in the air, buddy? Ooh.
And you know what? It felt super, super light through the bottom, too.
That was pretty much out of the middle of the golf ball.
Okay. Oh, God. That was... Can we not look at that one? I'll make that really
I would
bad.
rather see that miss, though, for you than that low smother.
Something feels way different about this, like this whole setup.
Mm-hmm. You should be able to be yourself with this shaft, bud.
Yeah. A little toey.
Yep, great miss.
Ball flights.
Absolute great miss.
Ball flights. Way better.
It's hotter.
Yeah. Look at that spin rate.
Yep.
What would be too low with the?
Too low a spin?
Yeah, like 1700, 1800.
15.
15.
17, actually, you're still going to be able to control that.
Okay.
Because of how much you hit up on it and how high you hit it.
What happens when I try to hit like a squeeze or something though?
We'll do that here in a minute.
Okay.
Once we find the right club for you, we'll see how that little squeezer feels.
Okay.
Little squeezer should spin more though.
So do you ever get to a point like when you're back checking numbers, because most of the data that you've been looking at is ball data, right? You're not looking at club data per se.
I'm not an instructor.
But you'll glance at it from time to time just to know what they're working with, right?
Yeah, to make sure it's not, the one time I really glance at it is to look for fatigue.
Okay.
That's would be the biggest time I actually look at club data.
Okay.
Okay.
It sounds decent.
This is a massive difference.
Yeah.
So we're going to use this shaft now to test the other heads. Okay, we got a good baseline off ball speed, spin, and launch.
Have you seen it? Have you ever seen anything like that?
Yeah, I sold them that. Because I'm going to have to take a screenshot of this piece because that's the one metric they don't show is this piece.
Yeah.
But you can see your trajectory difference.
Yeah.
Here.
Tremendous.
Look at your average. That's beating it, buddy.
Yeah.
That's going to be hard to beat, to be honest.
So club head shaft combo?
Yeah. So now we're going to definitely attempt it, right? Because the one thing I didn't like that we may need to adjust is our high spin. So we see this curvature going left, right?
Yeah.
That's your big miss,
Yeah.
right? So good thing about these are the adjustability we can do. With the ping, we could change lie angle only, or we could change lie angle and face angle.
Gotcha.
Okay? And we could change the back CG weight.
Gotcha. So you're always going to do that stuff last once you start?
Always.
Okay.
I want to find the head that gives us the fastest average across the face on your miss too.
Okay.
The spin average needs to stay nice. I don't want it to fluctuate by 1,000 RPMs when we hit decent shots, okay, or just barely miss it, okay? And I need to make sure our launch stays pretty consistent as well.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're going to...
Now we're going to go same shaft we just were using, but we're going to switch now to the Cobra Aerojet LS.
Okay.
So we got a little flatter lie angle here.
Okay. So same shaft that we were just hitting. God, that head looks... It's so weird coming from like such a deep face and looking down here. These things look like...
They all look massive.
They look like 7 woods though as far as the profile is concerned.
Exactly.
It's kind of embarrassing like how long I've been away from this. All right.
Yeah, we'll hit these structure balls to warm up.
Oh God. That was very comparable to what I would see with the Cleveland.
Yeah. Just 20 yards further. Beauty there, bud. That is a home run.
So everything's going further. Yeah.
Everything's going like at least 20, like I said it was.
Well, I brought a dinosaur for a baseline.
You made this easy for me, bud. I appreciate it. You didn't give me a challenge. Actually,
I'm not having to try to make adjustments to my golf swing, even though I know there's some things that I'd like to adjust.
Be you. Those adjustments are meant for the driving range, not a fitting.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're gonna go to the Callaway Paradigm.
I've heard nothing but good things about this head.
I've seen a lot of good things out of all these heads.
Yeah.
Right? But what I've seen over the years of Callaway, this head launches roughly 1 degree higher.
Okay.
Right? And definitely a lot less spin
Okay.
across the entire face.
Okay.
Okay?
So what would you be expecting to see with the change in weighting in this head? Like being a little bit on the heavier side?
It should make it a little easier on you to find the golf club.
Okay.
Like to find the center of the golf club.
Okay. I like the way it looks. So the first one felt like there wasn't anything in behind the head. It felt just kind of like it wasn't giving me anything back in behind it. Just kind of felt like it was not mushy by any means.
Yeah.
It felt like when when the collision took place, like the club was actually working back away from it. It didn't feel like it was. Is that weird? Is that weird?
No.
All right, let's make a good golf swing here.
Have you been scoring?
That felt like a better swing.
It was. So when hit near the middle of the face, this thing's great. But as soon as we veer off of that center line, it gets a little squirrely and spin just shoots up. Whereas the ping did not do that.
Yeah.
So ping's still the most stable version for you, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I actually, so as far as club head feedback wise, the ping is the front runner is from what I'm getting from the strike, even when it's off center. I was actually thinking that was going to be the best feeling club because of the way it kind of looked, the way it's set up for me.
ZX5 Mark II LS.
Okay. So right now the ping is the front runner based off of what we're seeing number wise, where off center hits. We saw on the Paradigm spinner, it was going
got a
back
little
up.
dicey whenever we didn't hit the center of the face.
I will say that combo did make me feel like I was working harder again.
Yeah. Pretty much center line.
Low?
10 millimeters. Yeah, just a touch low.
See, this is why you got to have deep face clubs. Actually, I like the feedback from this club as a whole, shaft and head. Decent. I don't like the matte color to it, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Just make a good swing here.
Yeah, are you playing a particular curve or are you just going straight?
I just do not like this club for you. It's almost making you want to shut the face more and more and more and more and more each swing.
I could feel that, like,
It's super fast, it's going to make your miss even worse.
which is what we want to stay away from.
Yeah, we want to minimize that.
So even it's giving me the best data, it's not mitigating the miss. It's not.
It's actually making the miss a little worse.
Okay. That's where you got to kind of find the.
Now we're going to go to the Taylormade
So this is the Stealth 2.
2 Plus. So we get a little bit more mass behind your strike.
Okay.
Even if it's low in the face, ball speeds will be fast with this. Okay? And it should reduce the gearing that happens from bulge and roll because of that twist face, where they add more loft in the high toe, decrease the loft in the heel, get less side curve.
Okay. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
For some reason, these heads, like, it looks like they've moved the center of the face back. It looks like towards the heel side to me. I don't know why that is. Just because it's been 15 years.
Yep.
It's wild.
All right.
It's like if you guys came to my house and you saw that I still have tube televisions instead of flat panels, right?
Nice. See how big satellite dish you back there?
I got my son standing up there moving the antennas around. Ooh, I like the way that feels. So,
Playable miss.
yeah, so that's a way, way different miss when I'm normally seeing that ball get up. I mean, I felt like I released the hell out of it and it did not go left on me.
Not. Face is 0. That's good, bud. Beauty right there, bud.
Yeah.
That's so good.
I don't love the red face,
Okay.
but I'm not, it's not like one of those things that's like putting me off to like where I would, no. It almost
How
kind
does
of,
the strike feel off the face?
the first one felt ridiculously good. I could definitely tell the miss. I could feel more of the miss, and I could tell the location of the miss, which is, I did say that was kind of important, but then I started losing sight of that with the other stuff. Maybe I don't want to know where the miss is.
Whoa, baby.
It feels, that's a different world.
Ridiculous, dude. I just gave you back to when your youth numbers.
Hey, 300.
303.2. Let's go. Big Daddy still got it. Okay.
Ball spin, or that looks good too, right?
So our spin average, remember, so we saw yours be a little low out of the toe. Well, it's showing the same average of strike here, but our spin almost 1,000 less,
Yeah.
right? Your land angle went from 47 down to average of 39.9. That's different. Like I said,
What did you want that to be?
34 to 38 for you would be fantastic.
So you're going to dial that in
So
with.
if we went back to this ping and did that, we're seeing 36.5 on average.
So the
Right?
ping was giving us
Spin
better.
was giving us lower spin, a little bit lower peak height, lower launch, with less of a land angle, okay, shallower land angle, so it's more for release when it gets to the ground.
Yeah.
And we're still seeing that same miss off the ping be a little bit low out of the toe. That's where you live on your miss,
Yeah.
okay?
Well, that's where I've lived.
For you.
That's where I'm hitting it solid.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so when I'm looking at this screen here, we see your current is the light green. The ping is that tight little purple.
Okay.
And then we see a little bit wider miss area.
Yeah.
Right? Both heads, I'm loving how it's very consistent at getting out to a number.
Yeah.
Okay?
But it looks like the ping is more consistent.
Ping is definitely more consistent. It has a tighter dispersion area.
Yeah.
Okay? I would say ping is number one. Taylormade is number two. Yeah, you hit this, you're furthest with this, but yeah, if you hit it a little offline, it's a longer walk in the woods to find it.
That's exactly right.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. I got one more head I want to try.
Okay. This is the Titleist.
It might be a hair upright. It's within a degree though. Yeah.
Oh.
It's really close. Yeah.
I'm going to end up liking this one. I guarantee it.
Close to it.
Just because I look down at it, I'm like, it just reminds me of the.
Traditional.
It reminds me of the old Cleveland head,
Yeah, Titleist has never veered away from their traditional.
Stickers on there.
and I'm like,
They've stayed consistent over the years.
And here's some human error in there. And then blue on the bottom is the average. And then plus or minus.
Every time you hit it out of the middle of the face, it goes one way or the other.
Base, right? Under affects the base. Yeah.
That was pretty simple.
look at that spin rate. Like, that's up where the old one was, but its ball speed's faster. That's the technology right there. It is a dramatic feel difference than the ping. But I'm not put off by the feel. I felt fast.
Slow down and
I know, I just tried to use my legs.
You definitely.
That
hit it
felt
just As
fast.
far as you do everything else.
That felt fast, yeah. What do you think about that?
That one wasn't bad, but that actually was
Perfect, man.
If every swing is like that, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
I'll make those swings with the other heads. I don't think I like this head.
No, I don't like this head. Can you make it work? Yes. You'll be able to live with it and make it work. But when I'm looking at your average on the misses as well, it's the worst of the ping, behind the ping and the Taylormade. So what I like to do to start is I like to put the mass behind the strike. It doesn't always work like that for players. If you put more mass behind your strike, velocity goes up.
Okay. I think I like the appearance of this head the most out of all of them. Out of the bottom. I like that miss a lot better though. Because that's what it, like, I knew in my old driver, when I hit that shot right there with that swing, I knew that ball was going left rough or Obi-Wan Kenobi. Wow.
God, I haven't heard that in years.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
One Kenobi.
Oscar Brown.
Okay. Normally, when the weight is in the front of the face, like the Taylormade, if you put it behind it, it'll shove it away from it.
Right.
If the weight's in the back, you move it opposite side, it will suck your strike to it a little bit.
So that's
what I typically see.
so.
It is
what-
counterintuitive.
But the way I'm thinking of it is, so you have the weight in the heel, which essentially means that the weight wants to drag, so I can release it harder. Okay,
Correct.
because I felt like I released the piss out of the club. Excuse my mouth.
Only 1.8. Yeah, so that's not bad.
That slipped a little bit.
It's such a good miss, though.
Yeah, I'm not mad at these at all. I can't believe that
I
ball.
still like the original setting the best.
I cannot believe that ball's not going left.
Let's put it back in its standard setting.
Okay.
So we need that head to be playable across the entire face.
Initially, you don't go to the switch
That was released hard out the toe again. There we go.
There we go.
That was that low on the face. That felt like right out of the middle.
So still fastball speeds out of that strike. All right, so we're noticing what? Our strike didn't really change, but it's still very consolidated. That's an improvement, right? We don't want it bouncing all over the face.
Yeah, we don't want to move towards the heel and
Right? No. Because this is where we were before, right? Yours is also a half inch longer than this too, right? So we saw yours be slightly closer actually to center,
right.
right? Fractionally.
But the numbers that we were getting from that,
Number average, you got average carry of 292, 1978 spin, 104 feet high, 37 land,
yeah.
That's
And this is
beautiful.
45 and a half
45 and a half inches.
with center weighting,
Yep, everything is standard in this setup.
9 degree.
Okay, now let's throw the TaylorMade back at it one time with
Okay.
some micro adjustments.
And we'll see.
I will.
It is
I
so
want to move that a little on the toe.
weird to feel like the energy that you're putting into a golf swing and you're swinging it at 110, 111 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I'm swinging 125. Where would the stiffness of this shaft lie in relationship to the Miyazaki Kasala?
So, very similar tip sections. This shaft's just a little softer than the Miyazaki is in the middle, okay? Which makes it a more mid-flight. It should bring that flight down a little bit.
And it's lighter.
And it's lighter.
So this one felt the hottest out of the gate.
Okay.
Are we ready? All right, Mr. TaylorMade, I want to like you.
Feels okay. Yeah. It's close and stiff as the way here. Just a little bit of the soft. Yeah.
I was standing over that one a long time. Were you worried about me? There was no way that ball was going anywhere on the golf course. Let's go.
I've got it set up where you can release it, man.
Okay.
Just be you.
Okay. Ooh. That felt fast. Out of the face.
5.9. That was a beauty there, bud. And green here is the last setup we had, so it's very comparable.
Okay.
We had one outlier that was up in the air. That was this guy, so if I remove that, we're still seeing a much wider dispersion rate with this TaylorMade. Okay?
So ping is still
to
the tighter
back.
one?
Yeah, so your miss is worse on the carry with the TaylorMade. We're still seeing similar dispersion left and right. His overall tightest dispersion is the ping. We had
Neither one of them are getting me into trouble though, right?
No,
Like
not at all, bud.
they're fast. They're all faster. I mean, we picked up 25, 30 yards.
Yeah, so we had one outlier there. So if I remove that outlier, now you're seeing your pattern. Nice tight little dispersion with that ping. I think that ping's going to be your best.
So G430
Yep.
stock
LST.
with Ventus. Okay, so we've reached the point where we're just kind of going through the final specs, talking about the build of the club. He's going to enter it into the computer, and now he's asking me about something I've never even heard of before, so we figured we'd flip this back on.
Okay, so we offer SST Puring. Okay?
SST
Puring.
Puring.
Yep. But it's a process done with a raw shaft. It's all done by computer. They stick it in the machine, the builder does, before the build takes place. It clamps it in the butt section, just like you're going to put a load on it in transition. It adds a weight to the end, similar to the weight of the head. They oscillate it, so they add a load to it and oscillate it. It maps out its oscillating pattern, then it rotates it a few degrees, does it again. It does it all the way around 360 degrees of the shaft to find the most stable plane for that club to play for a player.
Huh.
Okay, depending on how you load it. Okay, or when you load it. Right? So it's going to make sure it's more repeatable, just like we talked about at the beginning. How this is kind of like the alignment on your car. It's only going to make it better.
Okay.
Okay, highly recommended.
Okay.
When it comes to it, a lot of PGA Tour, they have multiple guys every week having this done to their equipment before they go to.
And this is called SST.
SST Pure.
Okay. And so, like back in the day when I was playing, we used to have something called spining of the shaft.
Correct. It's very similar acronym when it comes to it.
Okay.
What they did, fun fact, they took 12 of the most skilled builders across the country and put them to the test using their own way of flowing, spining, whatever you want to call it. They did like 10 times a piece.
Right.
SST Puring hit the same spine every single time.
No kidding.
No deviation. Everyone else was off just a little bit.
So just because you guys have found a better way for the process to be able to kind of dial that in as
it's
far
a
as
faster, easier process. It's all done before the build. And what it does, the machine actually draws a line on it for the builder, knowing they need to insert that at the 12 o'clock position.
Okay.
So there's no
so the head
deviation.
goes in at a spot. Okay, and this is all about how the shaft is loading when it's loading.
Correct.
Okay, to
So how
optimize.
it's going to play under load.
Okay.
conditions.
And so if it's not set, what would you expect to see as a player?
So what we can see, because every shaft is different when they talk about their components.
Right.
Okay. Whenever you put it under load, it can have wobble, right? The oscillating pattern can just wobble a lot. Okay. Just like if you've ever seen anyone use a CPM machine, they swing it up and down to get the cycles per minute, how stiff that
Right.
thing is. You'll see that head just start flying all over the place.
Right.
Okay, depending on which way it's moving, that head can be moving that direction as well, causing you to have these errant misses.
Right.
This is just going to be more stable at repeating it
Gotcha.
back and forth.
What I want you guys to take home from today is that the importance of being able to get fit at any time, not worrying about your skill set or where you're at, is something that you all should start to put into your brain. Don't worry about if you're in the midst of making a big change, right? Because if your club fitter, like Clay, sets you up with clubs that are working with you and not against you, that you're, even when your swing change is done, there's not going to be any sort of major adjustment. You may want to go back in for a gapping session or something of that nature.
Or just a little checkup to see if it's still performing the way you like.
That doesn't mean that you're going out there to buy another Ferrari, okay?
No.
I think that's what scares people
If
off.
you get fit right by someone who's not trying to push a product on you,
Right.
that really cares about your game. And that's what we do at TrueSpec. We care about the player.
That's what's important to me. That's what, like I said at the very start, is that why Clay restored my faith in the club fitting world, is that I want to go to a place that's brand agnostic, not somebody that's tied to a very specific brand or specific style of shaft, because they're going to always put that in your hands and they're going to try to get things lined up for you at that point. Where today we ended up with a club that I had no idea that I was going to end up with. And I'm not mad at it because I've had experience with ping in the past. I've had great experience. I've played the ISI Tech. I played whatever the blackhead was before the ISI Tech, just the regular ISI, right?
Yeah. Shout out Ping.
Shout out Ping, yeah. Make sure that when you're going through this process, super, super important, that you give the feedback based off of, on everything. Don't be afraid to let them know that you don't like the look of something. Or you
Yeah,
don't
I'm
like,
a big boy. I can handle any and all criticisms.
you're not hurting anybody's feelings,
Nope.
right? So telling them that you don't, like with Taylormade, I think Taylormade's a great company. They've done very, very good capturing a lot of market space right now. I don't like the look of the red face, me personally, where a lot of younger kids this generation might
Love
like
it.
that,
Yeah, they
because
love
it's
it.
like the gamer kind of like look, right? I looked down at it and it was a little bit distracting to me, even though I had some decent numbers with it. So with the Ping and the Taylormade, it became a little bit easier of a decision for me, even though we looked at the dispersion, we both settled that Ping was the better club, that the most important thing is for you to look down and love what you see, for you to feel comfortable with what you're seeing, and for you to feel comfortable swinging the golf club, and then everything else needs to kind of fall in place with that. And get with a club fitter that's not trying to look at your club data to try to make changes with you. Go with somebody that's going to look at the ball data and take you for who you are. And Clay said it many times in the session. He's like, I want you to be you when you swing the golf club,
Yeah.
which is the most important thing that you can do for yourself, is be you.